hears differently,
Okay,
all right?
yep.
Article 5 is the sergeants. And this one, we need $3,687 for the 1% increase. It will be from raise and appropriate, but this will not close their contract. The rest of the, yeah, so it's, they've agreed to the 1% increase, but they, the rest of the contract remains open for the sergeants. Article 6 is for the patrol officers. Now, you know that we didn't do a, the FY21 yet, but they're still agreeing to the 1% increase for FY22. So we're putting in an amount of $7,361. Again, their contract will stay open, but they're agreeing to that increase for FY22. Now, the way I figured this is on their current pay. So when FY21 gets settled, there'll be a little bit of extra that will have to go towards FY22 as well. And then Article 7 is the mixed unit, and that will be $1,433 from the general fund and $2,650 from water revenue. And again, that's their FY22, and the contract will be closed after that. So if you want to make a vote on, since all of those are similar, right?
Can we do it in one vote?
I don't see why not. You're still passing over Article 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is all set. Article 2 is all set because you already voted it the way it was funded.
Right.
Yes, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all have new funding and new amounts. So you could do those together.
Could we entertain a vote for Articles 3 through 7, which are the union negotiation articles at a 1% aggregate increase?
So,
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Let's see. Michael?
Yes.
Michael?
yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And myself, Tom, is a yes. Motion carries.
Okay, Article 8 is still a passover.
Can I just ask, since we haven't looked at the things, is there anything, I think we got away cheap at 1%. Is there anything big in the work practices that is of a concern to you guys?
In the contracts?
Yeah. Anything else in the contract? I mean, 1%'s a pretty...
So 1% for FY22.
Yeah.
The only thing big that happened was the mixed unit, that's Article 2, their FY21. That's where they got stipends for certain
Uniforms.
certificates and different
Or rate
things.
training, right.
Right. And they got a callback, an on-call amount. So for the water department, they would be paid $200 a week to be on call all week long. So we had to figure extra money into their wages for that. But you saw the big jump in the FY21, that's why this is $35,000 in the FY21, but not so much in the FY22 because that $200 isn't increasing for FY22. The 1% is only on their base pay.
And the other two ones that you said are still open are, they agreed on the wage, but other things could happen, Tom, to your
Right.
question,
Right.
but we don't, it's nothing you're handling
Not gonna
tonight.
affect what we're doing.
Not tonight, anyways.
yeah.
I don't want to speak for what they might negotiate.
This meeting. So 9, there is no changes. That is the trust for the water superintendent. 10, there is no change. That's the Aldana Road plan.
Right.
11 is the PA system. That's $7,500. And the change in this article is it will now be a raise and appropriate. It won't be taken from any articles.
Oh, so we don't have the offset money that we had before?
No, and so the reason why, the logistics behind this is because now all of the unions are getting the 1%, but wage and personnel is not. So the selectmen's intentions are at the May town meeting at the special town meeting within the town meeting, to propose a 1% FY '22, a 1% increase for FY '22 for wage of personnel employees.
With no raise and appropriate.
With it, we wouldn't be able to raise and appropriate because the tax rate's already been set, so we're gonna use the money from the articles. So that's the logistics behind the way they're doing it. They wanna be able to be fair to everyone, and that way, they're still, by raising the money for these articles, it's leaving the money available
Yeah.
later for the raise at the special town meeting. So, let's see, so that's Article 11 and Article 12. The changes are the funding, and they're now both raise and appropriate. Article, do you want me to?
Yeah, just do those two together probably.
So I entertain a motion to vote on Article 11 and Article 12 to move from funding through articles to funding through raise and appropriate. Yeah, so second?
Second?
Roll call vote. Mike?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
And myself, Tom, yes.
Okay.
Motion carries.
13 is not changing. 14 is also not changing. We got the next one. So 16 was a water article, so that funding is not changing. 15 is, we already did it, raise and appropriate. 16 is the water article.
14, we had, we were making no recommendation, so we're staying with, we're not recommending,
Right.
no recommendation on 14.
Right. 16. 17 is the marijuana article. 18,
Was a Passover.
right, is Passover. And then 19 is the other one, the $12,000 for the electronic solar traffic safety and signage. And now, that was $10,000 is what they're asking for, and it will be from raise and appropriate.
And that's a change, right?
So
That's a
you
change,
changed the
yeah.
just
Change
as
it
12.
Yeah,
So the amount came down, but the source is changing also, right? 12,000 to 10.
all right, yeah, I'm just wondering if that was a mistake on my part.
Okay.
But no one got it, and all our proofreading today, I'm going to make sure of that a little bit.
Thank you.
But that was a mistake on my part. It should have been 12,000.
And,
Yeah, it says 12,000 in the article, but the motion is
Right,
wrong.
but the
Yeah.
motion is wrong, so,
So it should be 12.
12,000.
cover that better. So this now moves to raise and appropriate,
And it will be raised and appropriated.
so we need to vote on Article 19.
Yep.
Okay, so can I ask for a vote on Article 19? So move. Second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Mike?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Tom? Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
So what I did do is, I printed out the synopsis page again, so that you could see what it does to our bottom line. You are still leaving,
How much? For 3?
229, pass them by the
Here, Linda.
we're leaving 229,925 on the table still.
Is our target
So-
350?
Our target was 300.
300.
300.
As of September 8th, your other votes, you were at 277? Is that what I have? I believe that's what I have in the notes.
Actually, 293.
293.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 277 is
Yeah.
right, because I
Oh,
had
okay.
15,000 for Article 2, so yeah, it's-
So to get back to it on our next budget, kind of setting a 375 goal for ourselves, is that it? Or no, they don't carry it? Should
The
I
next
not, should I
budget,
not
no.
think about it that way?
Not think about it that way. Every year, we're trying to leave at
Right.
least 300,000 on the table. That's the way we have to think of it.
Okay.
So, I've already gone into the state's website and put in a lot of the numbers. We're just waiting for this. Once this town meeting is over, then we'll be able to go in and set the tax rate. And the tax rate, I checked my numbers and I was right on track with this synopsis page. I did a quick workup on what the probable tax rate will be. It'll be
Is that
about
page 2?
16, no, that's not, on page 2 is the funding, but
Got it.
for my own use, I did a sheet.
And what's the
It
tax
looks
rate?
like the tax rate is gonna be about 1612,
1612.
yes, which is, it's gone down. But that's because the values of your homes
Wow.
have
They
gone way
went
up.
up sky high.
So our average house for FY '22, the average single-family home is worth 411,563.
What about condos?
So
What
that's,
about condos?
I don't have condos, but if you call the assessor's office, she'll be able to give you an answer on that.
So
All right.
on the average house, what's our increase gonna be?
About $330 on the average house.
So
Just
tax rate's gonna go down from 1739 to 1612.
about that, yes.
Really?
And this is just the back of the envelope, so don't hold me
Sure.
to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a Charlie language right there, back of the envelope.
It looks like the average single-family house value went up about 14%. The tax rate went down 7%, but the tax bill is going up 5%. I want to say only 5% because the value of your house went up
That's right.
14%. The tax bill is going up about 5%. I know, it just seems like, how does it compare? But we see it, we see all the numbers. That's what I have.
Basically a 5% increase in the property tax rate this year.
That's what I'm showing. In
That's back
the
of the
average
envelope,
single,
Charlie was
yeah,
describing.
average single family home. I mean, it looks great for the tax rate. So for the
Yeah.
tax rate to have gone down like that, that looks great. But the tax rate means nothing when you know,
You still have to come up with money.
that's right, you still have to come up with the same amount of money.
So, other than the process, the civil service vote for the police officers, we've voted in favor of all the articles. Okay.
We did.
Or you voted to pass over.
Or Passover.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna do blanket Passover at the beginning?
Pardon me?
We're gonna do the blanket Passover at the beginning? and then-
No, they're not going to, because there's only 3 of us,
So
so
they're
we
gonna
didn't do a
Do
sheet.
them one at a time, okay?
Yeah, so as they come up, because it's lottery, so,
And the 3 we passed over, just remind me for the,
Number 1 you passed over. Article 8 you passed over. And I think it's 18, right? Yeah, passed over 18. So you recommended to pass over those, everything else you recommended, except Article, yep, you gave no
14
recommendation.
with the no recommendation.
Yep.
okay.
And had it not been for the Silver Lake assessment, we would have been at that $300,000.
yes. Had it not been for the Silver Lake assessment, we probably would not have had a special town
Special town
meeting.
meeting, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Except we may have got either enforced by that marijuana article, the petition article.
Yeah.
And then whenever you open up to a special town meeting, there's always things that come in.
Sure.
So, but yes, actually, had we not, if it was not for that,
Yeah.
we would have had like 400,000
Yeah.
on the table, so.
The tennis court and all.
Yeah. Well, the
Tennis
tennis
court's a
court,
big deal this year.
the tennis court is still, that was a separate capital,
Oh, right,
Article.
it was a capital article.
and that would have come from their stabilization, so it wouldn't have affected the tax rate. So,
Do we have enough for quorum? for us, we do now,
Yeah.
okay.
We always did,
Yeah,
as soon as you had 4, you had enough.
Was
Yeah.
it
Was it, was it 6 or 6:30?
It
It was 6:30.
6:30.
Okay.
And we in our zeal to knowing we only had a half an hour.
Yeah.
Sandy just started rolling.
Okay.
It's like, don't ask
And then I
me.
was like, why don't you just say quorum?
That's fine, 'cause I'm usually get those things mixed up.
No.
If there's no other questions, I have to go
You were 2
make
minutes.
that correction.
Okay,
You go, because I
To the
still need these
moderator.
guys for something, but it won't involve you.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, obviously under the correspondence, you all saw the email today about the fact that they were settling with the unions on the 1%. And then the only other correspondence you had, I did reach out to Todd Dargy, and I hope I'm not saying that wrong, Dargy, who you had interviewed before, the Board of Selectmen interviewed before, but he went to Capitol because we brought on Mike O'Brien. And so I let him know that you'd be interested in having him back on finance. If he was still interested, he definitely is interested. He's actually hoping to remain on both committees if he can, and we'll discuss that. We'll let the Board of Selectmen discuss that because it's something to do with the fact that the two finance committees, either one person gives it up or whether or not he can be allowed to remain as a person at large versus a finance committee member.
Okay.
But he definitely wants to come back on, and where the Board of Selectmen already interviewed him and you already interviewed him, I think you're fine to take a vote if you're fine with it without interviewing him again, to recommend him to the Board of Selectmen, and then we'll let the Board of Selectmen decide if they're going to appoint him also. So if you want to do that,
So I think in advance of any first any discussion, but my view is in advance of we're all getting our assignments for liaison pretty soon to start working.
I actually put it on the next
Yeah.
agenda.
And that'll be on the next agenda, so that'll be good. So one more would be helpful, so. Any other comment?
No, I thought his interview was good. So
Yeah.
that was-
Okay, so let's, could I ask for a vote to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that we add Todd to the Finance Committee?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call vote. Mike?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Cheryl?
yes.
John?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. So yes, please,
Okay.
let's.
Fabulous, thank you. I'll reach out to him and let him know that we're recommending him to the Board of Selectmen, and then they can get him on their agenda. I'll let the Selectmen know too, so hopefully they'll get him on the next one, and hopefully you'll have another member before we get to those liaisons.
Good.
That's all I have under correspondence.
Okay. Can you do anything with calendar? When's the next meeting?
Your next meeting is actually next Monday,
Monday,
so, and then you
So then we
said
can-
you're
we can
gonna do every
calendar
Monday
set
from then on,
October and.
except for the
it'll be-
holiday.
Yeah, it'll be, other than Columbus Day, we'll be on every Monday for a while. too.
And I did
But-
give that heads up to Todd as well before I said, do you really want to still stay?
And we will do budget assignments next, we'll at least introduce the budget and start doing budget assignments next week, so.
Yeah, I don't know that
Think about the
Sandy's
areas, like
taking
Cheryl's giving me a point of view on what she wants and doesn't, maybe others just next week. Just think about who you wanna work with, and, we just want that to come into play. Okay,
Sounds good.
any other business?
There is none
Okay,
here.
so motion to adjourn at 6:50. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote. Michael?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Cheryl?
yes.
John?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you all.
Thank you.